Welcome back to Rocky Mountain Victim Law Center's Title IX videos. This is the second video. If you haven't seen the first, I encourage you to go back and watch it so that you understand where Title IX came from. This is Patsy Mink. She is the drafter of Title IX, and we're going to start with a little refresher about what Title IX says before we talk about where it's going. The Title IX Amendment to the Higher Education Act of 1972 states that no person in the United States shall, on the basis of sex, be excluded from participation in, be denied the benefits of, or be subjected to discrimination under any education program or activity receiving federal assistance. Prohibited conduct includes, regardless of whether or not the victim is male or female, sexual harassment, including verbal, sexual assault, dating violence, stalking, gender-based harassment. The perpetrator can be the same or opposite sex, and survivors are protected from retaliation. This is how Title IX works. Title IX is an amendment to the Higher Education Act. The act can be changed through a rulemaking process, and guidance can be given to federally funded schools through Dear Colleague letters that come from the federal administration. Rulemaking process means these following steps. Rules are proposed. There is a notice and comment period where the public, like Rocky Mountain Victim Law Center, can comment. Then the rules are promulgated. So how do schools ensure compliance? Well, there are a number of letters that have been issued over the years offering guidance so schools can be compliant, and they are called Dear Colleague letters. The first Dear Colleague letter discussed funding athletic scholarships equitably. Then they went through a number of guidance letters, including revising sexual harassment guidelines, guidance on single-sex schools, intercollegiate athletics and First Amendment issues, responsibilities and discrimination issues, athletics, scholarship programs, pregnant students, and assurance of civil rights compliance. That takes us from 1998 all the way through 2009. As you can tell from these Dear Colleague letters, the focus was very closely connected with making sure that university athletics were open and available to both men and women in an equitable way. But in 2010, things start to get a little bit more interesting. A Dear Colleague letter in 2010 discussed the obligation to protect students from student-on-student harassment on the basis of sex, race, color, national origin, and disability. In 2011, there was a Dear Colleague letter that has since been withdrawn regarding sexual violence. 2013, there was retaliation and pregnant parenting student protections issued. 2014, there was a question and answer Dear Colleague letter regarding sexual violence that has since been withdrawn. In 2014, there were guidance to charter schools. Included in that were also guidance around single-sex education and extracurricular activities and juvenile justice facilities. 2015 discussed voluntary youth services organizations and designations of Title IX coordinators. 2016, there was a Dear Colleague letter regarding gender equity in technical education. In 2017, there was a guidance for transgender students and a question and answer regarding on-campus sexual assault. That letter, too, has since been withdrawn. What remains, and is most pertinent to most survivors of gender-based violence, is the 2010 Dear Colleague letter, where the focus was on harassment, where they were very clear that the label that the school gave the incident does not determine the response, that if civil rights were implicated, the school needed to look beyond simple disciplinary actions, and lastly, that the school should consider whether a hostile environment was created. The Dear Colleague letter also discussed ending sexual harassment, ending gender-based harassment, and noted hostility based on sex or sex stereotyping or conformity. Lastly, the 2010 Dear Colleague letter noted that although Title IX does not prohibit discrimination based on sexual orientation, Title IX protects all students, including LGBT students, from sex discrimination. When students are subjected to harassment, they may also be subjected to forms of sex discrimination prohibited under Title IX. There are new rules that are likely to come out soon as they relate to Title IX. As we sit here and discuss this video, we are awaiting those new rules from the Department of Education. There was an extensive notice and comment period, and the new rules are currently sitting with the Office of Information and Regulatory Affairs in the White House. This is the last stop before the rules are promulgated. Rocky Mountain Victim Law Center will be back when the new rules drop to discuss how this will impact students and survivors going forward.